Welcome back to the Let's Play edition of World of Warcraft. We're in Heroic Nexus, and this is part 3 of our journey. We're about to finish this up. We're on the last two bosses here coming up. This is your host, Particle Man, and let's go ahead and get the rest of this done. Just right now, we're pulling the mobs going into the fourth boss. You got these big guys that are pretty tame. You can pull them with the other mobs that walk through there. It's just up to you, and you can always start running before they're dead, because DPS will stay on them. If you got enough aggro, it won't matter. And see, it helps you gather all these little guys up, because if you run up here with your group, these little guys are going to be running everywhere. This next pull is going to be a 4-person pull. Make sure you target one of the healers with Skull, and make sure whatever one you don't hit with your shield, you get aggro on. As you can see, I threw my shield horribly right there, and the Ret Pally dropped in like a second, because he came in, did his freaking Divine Storm, and just, I mean, it wasn't his fault, but he just rolled in there and just ripped aggro right away, because I didn't hit anybody with my shield, and so he died. So to make this instance even longer than it needed to be, that didn't help. So you're just going to DPS these guys down. I mean, you're going to lose someone every now and then. It just kind of sucks. Especially when the instance is taking a while. It can make you just want to kind of leave. But have no fear. We finish this up. Now this next boss, pretty much tank and spank. The only thing you need to really focus on is, well, the spikes are a big deal. But before I even get to that, if you're healer or caster DPS, you should really stand like under the boss in the consecrate of your tank, because, or Death and Decay if you're DK or whatever, because those little flower ad guys, they randomly pop up or something. I don't know. I've seen them a bunch, and I don't know. You can't really get aggro on them because they hold you in place. So it's just better if everybody just stands under the tank. It's only going to help you. When those spikes come, you obviously don't stand on them, because you're going to get knocked up in the air and take damage going up and damage when you come down, and it's just messy. There's no point in taking those. Everybody should be able to avoid them. It's not too difficult. Luckily, they don't hit me, so I don't look like a jerk. Now, the boss is going to do something. This is DPS. Kind of take note of this. He's going to do something called Spell Reflect. It's exactly like it sounds, just Spell Reflect. A good thing to do is to keep your Ice Lance at the ready. And whenever he does that, if you hit him with 2 Ice Lances, the next 2 spells he reflects, basically, from what I've gathered, I think, so far. So just throw 2 quick Ice Lances, bam, bam. They'll hit you, no big deal, you keep on DPSing. Some people just get drilled by that thing, because they just really ream themselves. Okay, so make sure you take this little shortcut. It's real handy just to drop down, pass up. You pass up like 1 mob, maybe 2, but it's just a lot quicker to get back this way. Be careful right here, because if your healer's not with you yet, mine is, which is really cool, but a lot of times people won't be. They'll be fighting over that awesome blue item that just dropped. Just make sure you got your people with you, because you can stun these guys and kind of hold them off for a while. But I never pulled the next guy until I got everybody down here. Well, I can't really say that. I probably pulled them before, but only if I knew we could handle it. I mean, that's really, guys, that's all what tanking's all about. It's just like, know what you can handle, and being able to tell what your group can handle pretty quick. By now, you've already fought 3 or 4 bosses with the group. You should know what they can handle. So, if you got a good healer and he kind of hangs around, then just keep on pulling. It doesn't matter. As long as you got a good healer, you'll be alright. Now, usually if you're running this instance pretty quick, you can time it to where when you get to this part, these 2 guys up here on your left and right won't be at this part of the patrol. But if they both are coming towards you, just pick a side and go to it. Because if you try to go in the middle and you try to skip them, all you're going to do is end up pulling both. Not that it's going to be a wipe situation, but I don't know. It just adds on to your time. When we do our 15-minute run, everything has to be flawless. Like, all the pads have to be going the right ways and everything. But, that adds 30, 45 seconds onto your time. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you fight 3 or 4 groups you're not supposed to, that's adding 5 minutes onto your run. So, why do that if you don't need it? Now in this room, obviously to get the boss out of here, you gotta touch all 4 orbs. Although I don't think I've ever seen them all 4 actually. I don't know. It seems like I only have to touch 2 or 3, even if no one else touches any. So once you click all the orbs, it activates this boss. So after you take care of this little putz, you can just go ahead and start it up. My group has full mana, so you can see me. I'll start to kind of drift and start clicking on them while we're fighting, just efficiency's sake. But now you're going to pull Karastraza. Now this boss kind of has an interesting twist that you're not used to, definitely, from Burning Crusade, in that the more you stand on the ground without moving, the more you stack up this frosty buff that does damage and slows your attacks and casting times and all that. So all you have to do, if you're a melee, the easiest thing to do is just stand in place and jump, which is super easy. If you're the tank, keep the boss facing one way. When you try to move, I've seen people try to move, physically move around when you're the tank. You can't do that because people get tail whipped if they're behind them. Like this druid is jumping behind him. That's really stupid. But people get tail whipped, and if you're in front of them, you get hit with the icy breath, so you don't want to do that either. Also, if you're a caster, this is very important. If you're a mage caster or any kind of caster, all you have to do is just slightly shift your feet back, forth, after each cast, and it's the same thing as jumping, and it'll save you a lot of time from jumping up and down. She kind of goes into a rage here in a second. At the very end, you can save your cooldowns if you're a paladin tank or a druid or whatever. Just save all your cooldowns for that, just in case, because it can, sneak up on you. So it's never bad to kind of go ahead and blow it anyway, because you probably won't have used it yet anyway, because the last boss is so easy. And so it looks like we just got done taking care of him, and that's gonna finish him up good. Check out your loot. Make sure you always greed on frozen orbs. That's definitely the standard way of doing loot. And pass on epics. You all know that stuff. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me. I hope you learned a little bit. If not, at least had a fun time watching. I haven't checked for too many videos like this, but it's always kind of fun to watch a good quality instance run. So I'm going to do some more of these, and I hope to see y'all back for some of the other heroics I'm going to do.